What if time wasn't so different from the space around us? What if you could travel to the past or future, just like you walk left or right or move up and down? Would changing the past even be possible? And if you did, would that create one of those famous time paradoxes? And speaking of that, what kind of time machine would we even need to make this possible? Welcome to Infinite If, and today we're diving into what could happen if you could actually travel through time. Let's be honest, how many times have you wished for a time machine? Maybe to skip a boring meeting or to win an argument you had last week with the perfect comeback? Time travel sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but guess what? We're already moving through time, every single day. Albert Einstein discovered something incredible. Time isn't fixed. It's always moving forward, and we're moving right along with it. In fact, according to Einstein, time is actually the fourth dimension. When you combine it with the three dimensions of space, it forms something called space-time, a four-dimensional fabric that makes up our entire universe. Now think about this. When we move through space, we go forward, backward, left, right, up, or down. Moving up is harder unless we use stairs or a plane, so maybe time is just like that. Tricky to move through because we haven't invented the right vehicle yet. Surprisingly, building a time machine might be theoretically possible, but it wouldn't look like a spinning phone booth or a souped-up DeLorean. It would probably look a lot more like a spaceship, because time travel doesn't depend on magic, it depends on speed. Einstein's theory of relativity showed us that the faster we travel through space, the slower we move through time. So, if you were on a spaceship flying at 99.9% the speed of light toward a planet 40 light-years away, you might explore for a bit and come back to Earth. From your perspective, maybe only 2 years passed, but back on Earth, it would have been 80 years. Everyone you knew would be older or even gone. That effect is called time dilation. It's real, but the problem is, we just don't have the tech to do that yet. The fastest spacecraft ever flown by humans, Apollo 10, only hit 11,000 meters per second. To travel through time, we'd need to go nearly 299 million meters per second, which is basically the speed of light. And even if we could accelerate that fast, the force on our bodies would be massive, so strong it would probably tear us apart long before we got close to light speed. But don't lose hope. There's another idea: wormholes. Einstein also predicted these strange tunnels in space. They could, in theory, link two completely different locations, or even two different times. Imagine them as shortcuts to another part of the universe, or another point in time. Here's the catch, though. Wormholes are incredibly small, just a billion trillion trillionths of a centimeter wide. No human could ever fit through one. Honestly, most of us can barely fit into last year's jeans, let alone a quantum tunnel. But what if we could enlarge a wormhole? Imagine a giant tunnel hovering above Earth that leads to another planet or another time. If we could place both ends of the wormhole in the same location, but at different times, we might be able to step through and come out in the past. Still, wormholes come with big issues. They're unstable and short-lived, and traveling into the past could create huge paradoxes. For example, let's say you go back in time and convince your grandmother not to marry your grandfather. That means your dad wouldn't be born, and neither would you. But if you didn't exist, how did you go back in time to stop the wedding in the first place? This is why most scientists believe time only moves forward. It's linear and unchangeable, which means we can only go the future, not the past. And technically, we've already done that. Astronauts who spent a year on the International Space Station aged just a tiny bit slower than we did on Earth. So right now, they're about 13 milliseconds ahead of us, living slightly in the future. It's proof that time travel is already happening, just not in the flashy, sci-fi way we imagine. But who knows? Maybe wormholes or other breakthroughs in physics could one day open a portal to the past. A place where the rules are completely different and where time flows in every direction. So here's the big question. Would you dare step into a time machine, not knowing where or when it might take you? And if you had the chance, where would you go? The past? The future? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Infinite If for more mind-bending journeys through science, time, and space. Your future self will thank you.